Hi, everyone. This is Raquel.
Hi, and this is Jennifer.
Welcome to Madness Cafe.
This is a feminist podcast where we talk about women's issues, politics, and health and wellness.
And where those issues intersect. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Madness Cafe. Today, we have a very lovely guest with us. Her name is Susan Bratton, and Susan is the intimacy expert to millions. She is a champion and advocate for all those who desire intimacy and passion their whole life long. Susan is a co-founder and CEO of two companies. The first one is Personal Life Media, Inc., a publisher of the Better Lover brand of heart-connected lovemaking techniques and bedroom communication skills and regenerative therapies. And the second one is The 20 LLC, which is a manufacturer of organic and botanical supplements that enhance sexual vitality. Susan is also an active and caring spokesperson for GAINSWave, FemiWave, and the Dr. Kaplan Company, three biohacking / regenerative therapies for increasing one's sex span to achieve ageless sexuality. Susan is a best-selling author and publisher of 44 books and programs, oh my God, including Relationship Magic, Revive Her Drive, Ravish Him, The Passion Patch, Hormone Balancing, and Hot To Trot.
Yeah.
Susan Bratton.
That's a good one.
For being with us today. That's a lovely one. We all want to be Hot To Trot.
Yeah, we are.
But there you go. Thanks for being with us, Susan. We're ready to talk about all things sex.
Oh, we are so ready. We're so ready. We
so are.
Just to start, would you give a little background about yourself, and then how did you get to be so passionate about this?
Yeah, Jennifer, my passion is passion. Well, they always say that your greatest wound becomes your greatest gift. And that was the case for me. I've been married 30 years with my husband for 32. About a dozen years into our relationship, we were really living a parallel universe. We were very platonic rather than intimate. He wanted sex. He tried to get sex from me all the time. And I did every trick in the book to avoid it. I liked having sex with him when we got married, but basically after over a decade of having intercourse with someone and never having an orgasm, I could take it or leave it, and I left it. We started going to therapy, and that helped with some things, some of the trauma, sexual abuse and things that I had dealt with, and learned to forgive my transgressor and find compassion for the fact that he had a shittier life than I did, and that it did not define me, and that I could get over it and work through it. But it wasn't until we started going to sex workshops. We live here in the Northern California area near San Francisco, and this is really the kind of the nexus of personal development and sexual metamorphosis. And we started going to sex workshops, and it basically immediately fixed our relationship. We started knowing what to do. I started having orgasms from intercourse. We just really thought, geez, Louise, how come nobody teaches us this stuff?
Exactly.
And I said, why don't we? Because we were Silicon Valley tech people. And we said, why don't we put workshops on the internet? Just like make it so that a couple or a single, anyone can just download some audio, video, and ebooks and learn techniques, see what they look like, learn the things you need to learn so that you can have intimacy that not only lasts your whole life long, but gets better and better as you age. And I can tell you now that at 62, I am having by far the best sex of my life. All my parts work. I'm through my body image issues. I'm surrendered to my pleasure. I'm highly multi-orgasmic. I have comfort around knowing what I want, asking for it. I'm playful, fun, adventurous. I think up really fun stuff to do all the time. Like, I'm really fun to, if you know what I mean, because I have learned all these things. And so my parents were educators, art teachers, English teachers. I come from a lineage of educators. And I like being a sex educator, and I'm a little bit of an unusual sex educator. My niche, if you will, my area of expertise, if you think about most people in the sex business, if you will, they are sexologists, they are therapists, they are people who are solving problems. So mostly the people that come to them are people who are having marital issues, like my husband and I were, or they are people that have fetishes they're embarrassed about, or they're, 60-year-old virgins and they feel like they're taught, they don't know what to do. And, those kinds of things. But what
Mm-hmm.
I do, and this is the 44 books and programs, what I like to do is I like to teach people pleasuring skills. I like to
Mm.
teach them about their anatomy, how their body works. And when I got the opportunity to come on Madness Cafe because you were a feminist show, I immediately told my publicist, oh, hell yes, Corinne,
Thank
because
you.
I am a feminist sex educator.
Awesome.
And what I do, I have more men follow me than women, because what I
Interesting.
do is I essentially explain to people the difference between, let's just call it the male and female body. But
Mm.
really, I'm in full support of rainbow sparkle gender spectrum. I don't really care what body and what gender you have. I love it all. I want to call you anything you want. I want to use any pronouns you have. I want to embrace everybody of all colors, races, sizes, everything.
Let's
But
all have sex.
exactly. But because it's good for us, but we're either like 97 or 8% of us are either born as vulva owners or penis owners. And so I like to
Mhm.
just call that the man and the woman for simplicity's sake.
Right.
It's not a gender perspective. It's just a
Mhm.
biological, what's your equipment and what's your dominant hormone.
Mm.
Because the penis owner is testosterone dominant and the vulva owner is estrogen dominant. And
Mm-hmm.
boy, does the difference between, even though our genitals are the same parts arranged in different order, that arrangement really makes a difference. And so does our testosterone versus estrogen dominance. And so, what I like to do is I like to explain to people the genitals you have, your particular arousal ladder, it is so different between men and women, how long it takes us and what we need to get turned on. It was funny. I was just watching a show called Slut Ever on, I forget what, maybe Netflix. And because there's a documentary film being done about my work in my life.
Oh.
It's a cause-based documentarian who met me and said, oh, your story and what you do is so interesting. I want to do a story about you. And so I've been watching a lot of television and films about the sexuality industry and world. And I thought it
Mhm.
was so interesting. The premise of her first episode of her show was that she wanted to go out and get a happy ending.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And what I thought was so interesting about it was that it turns out that she really couldn't find, she could find like a male gigolo, that she could hire to like give her the girlfriend experience or the boyfriend
Right.
experience or whatever.
Right.
But she really couldn't find that. She went to this guy who was like a yoni G-spot awakening guy, and he was like, well, it's going to take about 3 sessions for me to get you to the point where you can have a release. And she's like, 3 sessions, for God's sake. Where men have, like, within a mile, there's someone who will give them a happy ending everywhere in the world.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was thinking a lot about that. And I was thinking about how then I saw a clip on YouTube about Australia and how they're trying to get vibrators, sex toys, and I like to call them sex tools, into department stores and things like that. But that Australia has this strict rule that sex toys can only be sold through adult stores. And the adult stores are in kind of the seedy areas where women don't
Mhm.
feel safe going. It's a
Mhm.
patriarchal control.
Yeah, it
right?
is.
We don't want to go to some stranger to have an orgasm. Guys don't care.
No.
They're just like, get it, give me a release. They're just happy to
Yeah.
have anybody. They're really not that picky about it.
Mm,
These are always generalizations. Everything I say is on the bell curve, but women are. We have that need for emotional connection, being safe. We
mm-hmm.
can't just go to a stranger and get them to give us a happy ending. We
Right.
need the toys and the tools so we can do it ourselves because we don't want to mess with the sticky emotional webs of strangers, where
Mm-hmm.
that's not a problem for men because they walk in the world as the predator. We walk in the world as the prey.
Yep.
That's
Mm,
why estrogen is our dominant hormone, and it has its eye on everything because we always have to watch for danger, which is
mm,
why we're not like, yeah, let's go. Give me an orgasm. That's what dudes do because they're testosterone dominant. They have nighttime erections. They wake up with morning wood. They masturbate every day.
mm-hmm.
That they don't have the. They're ready to drop trow and let's go. They got to be ready. They're horny already. They're goal oriented. That if you ask a guy to do something while he's concentrating on something else, he can't do it. He's like, don't interrupt me. I'm doing something. I'm like, you're doing one thing and you can't listen to. But women, we do like a million things at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really so indicative of how we women have been having sex in the patriarchal way.
Mm-hmm.
We've been expected to. Why aren't you ever horny? How come you never
Yeah.
initiate? I feel rejected. Why can't you have an orgasm? Like, I feel so bad. Well, I guess I'll just have intercourse with him because, I like to be close to him and he'll be all grumpy if I don't. It's my job to service him. And like this whole paradigm is
Mm-hmm.
so screwed up. And so
Mm-hmm.
I like to talk about what does matriarchal sex look like? What does
Yeah, let's hear
Yes.
about
mommy?
that. Let's hear about
Yes.
matriarchal sex.
Yes. Please preach, honey.
Yes.
So
What is matriarchal sex?
Yeah. Tell us.
yeah, matriarchal sex is every woman is so different, but
Mm-hmm.
basically, we need to first get out of our head and
Yeah.
into our body.
Yep.
We need
Yep.
to relax. For us, arousal begins in relaxation.
I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
When if we're with a male-bodied partner and he's like, what buttons do I push? What dials do I
Hate that
turn?
so much.
Grab them by the is the quintessential patriarchal disgusting concept, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Spoken by the most disgusting patriarch of the universe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Agreed.
mhm. And we don't want our knobs turned and our dial spinned until we're held. The
Mm-hmm.
room is a nice temperature. The lighting makes us look beautiful. The
Yes.
sheets are clean. The towels are clean. I saw this girl on Instagram on one of her reels, and she was like, I don't, she was like a 20 something talking about dating. And she's like, I don't even care what what you look like. Don't even put your pictures of you with holding your bass fish and stuff on your dating profile. She's like, show me your
Your
bedroom.
sheets.
And
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Show me your sheets. I want to see what it looks like. I don't want to be stepping
Exactly.
on stuff getting there.
Show me your bathroom.
Yeah.
Show me
Show
that
me
your
your
bathroom does not look like gas store bathroom.
I'll take
I
a
mean,
pic of
a
your
gas
kitchen
station.
floor.
Yep. Yep.
and
Mm-hmm.
guys are always like, what do women want? And I'm like, you really want to know? Because it's going to go in one ear and out the other. But here's what they want. Here's what we want. Number one thing women want: grooming. We don't want to see no nasty Shrek toes in our bed. We don't want
Yes.
parsley scratchy. We don't want like pubic hair shooting out all over.
Yes.
Don't even touch my yoni with those dirty, nasty hands, right?
Yes. Clean up.
Clean up. Ear hair and hairy
Whose
backs.
hair?
And number two, we want emotional connection. We want your presence. Stop trying to do us. Just be with us. Just freaking drop in and connect your heart. Connect your heart and your head to your penis. It's not this disembodied piston.
Yes.
It's, we don't need that.
Yeah.
So, and then slow down, turn around, come back and get us, because you're way ahead, Mr. Goal Orientation. You're like, let's go, and we're still back here going, okay, is everything safe? Did I turn off the whatever? Is, how am I good? So that's one part of it. It's that testosterone versus estrogen. We have to keep ourselves safe. We're always in danger. We need to be relaxed. We need to be held. We need it to be safe. You need to smell good, taste good. You need to have good lighting. You need to have the right lube. You need to have soft towels and clean sheets. I mean, this is very, very important for us. And I call it setting the lover space. And I give guys checklists. Here's what you need to go do. If you know what seduction is? Seduction is go check this stuff off the list and make the bedroom nice before you even ask me if I want to lie down with you. So that, I think, is very important. And then the second piece of it is the physiologic perspective, which is he's got that testosterone raging in his system, and he's always like, I'm so horny all the time. And women are all like, I don't know, maybe once a month or so, I'm like, I could be down for it. I can get off a little bit, but we are what are called responsively desirous. And our male body partners are spontaneously desirous. They're pretty much walking around like horn dogs if they're healthy. All this is predicated on health, because your libido and your health are two sides of the same coin. I can literally tell when I feel shitty because my libido is gone. When I feel great, I'm horny. It's really, really just parallel universes together. They're the same thing. The other piece of it is that if you think about a guy and his penis, it's like a banana. Half of it actually sticks out of his body, and half of it goes in and down toward his testicles. So if you take the typical penis and double the size, and then you peel the skin off of his banana, mostly fruit in there, that fruit in the banana is erectile tissue. Now you take that out and you make that banana a teardrop. All that same amount of tissue that could fill up your hand is in our vulva, inside us. But it's in all these little parts. There are 3 erectile tissue chambers of the penis. There are 3 erectile tissue chambers of the vulva. There's the clitoral tip, the shaft, the hood, the little arms called crura that kind of go in and back, the little legs, which are called vestibular bulbs, that come right down on each side of our outer labia, right under our pubic fur. They're in there, sponges in there. Then there's the urethral sponge. That's our second one. That one goes along the top of our vagina and then shoots kind of north up by the cervix. And then our third erectile tissue is called the perineal sponge, and that's on the floor of the vagina between the vaginal canal and the rectum. Just that alone takes us 20 to 30 minutes to get fully erect. For our guys, it's like a minute or two. They look at our boobs and they're like, bing, let's go. So he's ready to now I want to add one more thing, if that's okay, like kind of the last piece of matriarchal, patriarchal puzzle. And that is that the white Christo-fascist religious oppression, purity culture, Madonna, whore, rat's nest has said that we are breeders. Our job is to make a lot of babies, so there's more of us, whatever religious faction you want. So the only thing that sex is intercourse, and it's our job to submit to it.
Right.
And thinking that when I say to people, have you had sex? And they'll go, no, I didn't, I didn't have sex with him. We made out, and, he played with my boobs, and, he went down on me, but we didn't have sex. And I'm like, no, that was sex. That's all sex. When you think about it as foreplay and intercourse, that's a patriarchal, religious, oppressive construct, because what we need is all the stuff leading up to intercourse to prepare us to enjoy intercourse. And
listen up, men. Listen up. Listen up.
And most women have literally never had what I like to call a clitoral erection or a lady boner or a yoner, like my yoni has a boner, yoni being the tantric word for the whole genital system. I like to call it a yoner. We literally never had, I didn't have a yoner for the first 12 years of my marriage, which is why I didn't want to sleep with my husband anymore. Because he just, grabbed a boob and stuck it in, because that's what everyone does, because sex is intercourse. And so we've got to break that paradigm by, and I don't like the term foreplay. I don't like foreplay and sex because
it separates it. It separates it. Like there's one thing, you got to do this so you can do that.
Yeah.
Hate that. Yeah. I hate that.
It's very linear.
Yeah.
Exactly. One of the things I have that I teach is something I call my dope flow sex date.
Love it.
I love it too. And because it's the kind of thing where when you have a really hot lover and you're really good in bed and you love to do a lot of stuff with them, sometimes like you can't wait for them to get inside you, but you know that you need the time to warm up. And so maybe you're going to make out and he's going to play with your boobs and you're going to stroke his penis and he's going to tell you how gorgeous you are. Maybe he's going to hold you for a while. Maybe you're going to use your vibrator and give yourself some orgasms while he's playing with your nipples and telling you how beautiful you are. Then maybe you're going to do, some oral pleasuring. Maybe you want to do it simultaneously. Then maybe you're going to have a little intercourse and you're going to take a break because you just need to, you're like, hey, that was good, but I want to take a little break. Let's do something else. Maybe I want to use my other vibrator on myself while we do whatever. And so just this idea that it's not that linear thing that you were saying, Raquel. It's this notion that I want to do this. Now I want to do this. Now I'm in the mood for this. Now I'm in the, and you have all, it's like, it's never the same twice. It's just, you have all, like, you're just, whatever your body is telling you it wants in this very moment. Can I just lie here like a pillow princess with my legs spread, take a vape hit and watch you go down on me in the mirror? Like that would be really fun, right? And so I think that the more that we can get people to understand that the race toward penetration is a fool's errand, that yoni massage and kissing and breast play, it's a triangle. There's three things that contribute to both engorgement, the blood flowing into your pelvic bowl from the inside as well as the outside. And so nipple and breast stimulation, and women have to start loving their boobs. Women are so hard on ourselves. But we just think we're supposed to be so perfect. Our boobs are such a source of incredible pleasure. Nipple gasms, breast gasms, kissing, the tongue, the lips, the neck, the throat, all multi-orgasmic. One of the things I teach is something I like to call my 20 kinds of orgasms. And that's for all bodies, not just the female body. Once people are like, there's 20. Some people are like, nah, I'm good. I got my way. But I say, no, orgasmically cross-train. Take the way that's working and add on the stimulation of the second thing. And then you can start to have the second kind of orgasm. Then you can add on the third one. Whether you are awakening your G-spot or learning female ejaculation or doing erotic hypnosis or finding his P-spot or whatever it is, they're having throat gasms from giving oral pleasuring. These are all orgasmic experiences available to our bodies. All our bodies can do them. We just need to know how. What are the steps? And that's really what differentiates me from most people in the sex world, is that I like to teach people the steps to have the pleasure. And that's a combination of the physical stuff and the communication skills and sexual health. It hurts. I don't want to have sex that hurts. Let's fix it. My husband can't really get hard enough to penetrate me. Let's fix it. Everything can be fixed. There's almost nobody that can't get enough regenerative treatments and therapies and do the things at home that are required to have robust genitals till the day you die. And sex keeps getting better your whole life long because you become a masterful. Like, I'm a better cook in my 60s than I was in my 50s, than I was in my 40s. You just keep getting better at the things that you keep doing. And if you want to live a long and happy life, having good orgasmic intimacy is going to add 10 years to your life. It's going to make you look 10 years younger than your peers. And imagine the difference between the person who says, "Oh, I'm just glad I'm done with that stuff now that I've gone through menopause. I don't even want to do it because it's not been good for them."
Yeah.
That person is going to die younger, live a less pleasurable life, look older, be more stressed, not be as happy, not be as calm. They're just gonna be a more marginalized person than the person who's has sexual vitality, has creative passion, is fueled by their desire, has a body that they love, no matter what it looks like. That person's going to live a longer, happier life and look better. And I'm that person. And that's the people who are like, I want what she has. What do I need to know, girl? Where do I start? You know?
Yep.
More
all
yes
that.
to all of that.
Yes, all of it. All of it.
Well, I have a million questions of what you've just said. I have like some personal stuff I want to ask and some other things, but let's start with the personal. Raquel and I once had an episode where we talked about dating after 50.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we have noticed with men after 50 is what you just brought up, that a lot of them don't get as hard as we'd like them to get. What's a man to do?
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you have to fix their dick for them. They, you know, if they're a great guy,
we have to do everything. I'm just kidding.
I know. No, you can make them work hard. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, they'll work hard for you. Trust me. They want to do what's right. They just don't know what it is. You just got to tell them.
Yes, exactly. They do want to do what's right.
They're well intentioned. What I teach in the intimate wellness leg of the stool of my teachings is basically this notion of sexual regenerative therapies. And I just fixed a friend's dick for him. He was like, "What do I do?" And I helped thousands and thousands of men with this. And it was so interesting to see how he had transformed himself. He was in a 23-year, basically sexless relationship. Maybe he would get to have sex with her once or twice a year. And
oh my God.
She'd say, "Do it as fast as you can and get it over with." And so he became a premature ejaculator.
Of course.
He ended up pushing a wet noodle. And he just didn't have any stamina at all. We did a combination of three things, really. The first one was that he went and he got a series of treatments called GAINSWave. And there's FemiWave for vaginal atrophy, loss of clitoral sensation, lax vagina, and lax labia, and incontinence. That's what happens to women. This acoustic wave technology done by practitioners in office with kind of a big machine, it sends these waves into all the tissue all around the vulva or the penis deep inside to stimulate new tissue growth, new vascularization. And then therefore, when there's blood flow, there's also nerve connectivity and conductivity. Because the nerves retract when the blood flow retracts, and then the tissue atrophies and it shrinks and it loses its blood carrying capacity. And women's erectile dysfunction is equal with men's. Men just get all of the press.
Yeah, I could see that.
Exactly.
Outie instead of an innie, but we we have orgasmic diminishment, vaginal laxity, incontinence, labial laxity. We have all that stuff. So I like the acoustic wave technologies the best. Now, that is something that not everyone can afford, but a lot of people can afford it. And it is the gold standard. It is much better, especially for women, than the intravaginal lasering, which only gets the vagina. It often just wounds it terribly. so that it, kind of regrows, but it does nothing for clitoral sensation. It does, maybe it helps a bit with incontinence. It's like, I personally feel like men invented lasers for like skin issues and things like that and went, let's just stick it in the vagina too. We can make more money if we
Probably.
just do that. And so let's just make everyone wound and weep. They'll get over it. It'll, I just don't think it's good at all. So I love the
No.
FemiWave and GAINSWave acoustic wave treatment, a series of 6 or 12 treatments to return the genitals to youthful vitality. For men, they can use a penis pump, a vacuum erection device. And this is what it looks like. This one has the little red light wrap on it. Where's the handle? I don't know if I have my handle.
Who knew?
I know. It's amazing.
I didn't know that's what it looked like. Like, I've heard of penis pumps before, but I hadn't actually seen one before.
Yes, they're really good. You just put your penis in here, and then there's a little handle. I don't know why. I've been doing so many things lately. I'm not sure where I put it. A little handle, and it pulls the penis inside there. It takes the air out. And so then the blood flows from your body into your penis, and it increases the blood carrying capacity, and it restores the erectile function.
So kind of like a suction.
Yeah, it's like suction, vacuum.
Okay.
I think they would be playing with that all day long if they had
you would
one.
think.
It feels really good. And for the women who understand that it's healthcare down there and that it's also pleasurable for their husbands, they're happy for them. They want them to do it. They encourage them to reverse their atrophy and get their hormones back. But for some guys, they're even afraid to ask their wife about it, or they feel ashamed, or they have to hide it, or what have you. What's nice about this is that it's a $200 item. For most guys, if they start young enough before it's too far gone, they could potentially reverse the atrophy and get that blood flow and that erection back with just the pump. There are also vulva pumps, but I don't find women like those as much as they like, here it is, this device. This is called the vagina device.
That looks more fun.
This is the vagina device. And what it does, it's at vaginadivice.com. And what it does is use red light therapy, which is photobiomodulation. That's what red light is. Red light inside the vagina stimulates the vaginal mucosal lining cells, which already slough off quite a bit. They're very sloughy cells. It stimulates new tissue growth. So you get it thickens the thinning vaginal tissue.
Okay.
It has toning it's like vibrating, not to give you an orgasm, but to tone like Kegels for the musculature.
Yeah, nice.
The light also, and there's warmth. It's warm, which is my favorite part. And when you put that warm red light inside your vagina, it brings in the blood flow, which is very healing because it's oxygenating the tissue. What this is great for is if someone feels like their clitoral sensation is still good, but they feel like they have vaginal atrophy, laxity, some incontinence that's not super bad, thinning tissue, loss of lubrication. It's really
I was just going to ask you if it helped
lubrication back.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you if it helped with vaginal dryness.
It really does. But the best thing to do for vaginal dryness is a combination of something like this red light, the vagina device, with estrogen replacement, intravaginal estrogen replacement.
Okay.
So you can buy estradiol vaginal serums and put them in the vagina, or you can go to your gynecologist or your healthcare provider and you can get vaginal cream that you put in your vagina, and that helps basically plump up the tissue. You can also, I put the vaginal serums, I take estrogen. I do estrogen replacement therapy, and I put it inside my vagina. But I also use those topical estriol serums and put it right on my face. Put it right on my face and my neck and my décolletage to keep the tissue from thinning. Because as you age, your skin gets thin. You've seen how papery and thin old skin gets. That's the loss of estrogen and the loss of collagen. So taking collagen also helps. Collagen with a little bit of zinc, a little bit of copper, a little bit of silica. That really helps. And hyaluronic acid. Put those in your morning smoothie. It'll help your vagina. It'll help your skin. It helps with everything. But the vagina device is really nice. But if you've got clitoral sensation loss or pretty bad incontinence or very lax outer labia, then what you're really going to want is FemiWave. That's the big guns. That's the really good. That's the gold. That's the gold standard. The vagina device is fantastic if you're nipping it in the bud early. It's kind of like the same with GAINSWave and the penis pump. They work beautifully together. So do FemiWave and the vagina device. They work beautifully together. So you can have an at-home do-it-yourselfy thing, and then get your GAINSWaves and FemiWaves, and that'll really carry you a long way and fix everything and reverse it. So that's the best overall. And then there's one more thing I want to show you, and I will have these sent to you.
Oh, thank you.
After the show, get me your addresses and I will have these sent to you. I'm a spokesperson for this brand. It's called Foria, Foria. And this is what I'm about to say is at pleasureprotocol.com. So if your listeners or viewers want to really go and look at this stuff, pleasureprotocol.com. This is melts. These intimacy melts are suppositories.
For listeners who didn't write that down, don't worry, they'll be in the show notes.
Yep, thank you. This suppository is called a melt, and it's cocoa butter. Smells like chocolate. It's really yummy. You can eat it. It's cocoa butter with botanicals and CBD. CBD comes from the hemp plant.
Right.
It's the phytocannabinoids that mimic the human endocannabinoid system. And our endocannabinoid receptors are all in our vulva. And it does two things. The first thing that it does is it kickstarts our own endocannabinoid pleasure healing pathway. And it activates the vulva mind connection, because you know your brain is your biggest sex organ. And what your brain is doing is it's registering touch and sensation as many things: shame, numbness, pain, pleasure. And the more that you can register as pleasure by letting go of shame, touching and activating in pleasure to get rid of numbness and pain, then you're moving yourself into pleasure. And these melts go up inside the vagina. They've also got booty melts. And
booty melts.
They got your booty melts, and they go up inside, and it coats the whole vaginal lining. Have you ever had period sex and you notice that it feels more like luxurious in your vagina?
Yeah.
The melts are like that. They feel like luxurious. And they're not overly slippery or cold or wet or weird. They're emollient. And so they feel wonderful for intercourse. So you pop this in first. It melts. Then you put on the second part. This is a system, the protocol. You put on the second part, which is called the Awaken oil. One squirt applied to the whole outer vulva, the mons, the outer labia, the inner labia, the clitoral hood, the clitoral shaft and tip, the vestibule inside between the inner labia, the perineum and fourchette. And it has botanicals and MCT oil in it that start triggering the brain to be like, oh, ooh, I feel it. Oh, it feels good. Oh, yeah, that's nice. So then you've got melts in there. You've got the Awaken on the outside. And then you've got their beautiful sex oil that you can use as much of as you want lubricant. As you need lubricant, you can just put it in there. They all work beautifully together. You know how sometimes you'll like use an oil or you'll use a lubricant, and then it'll get like the proteins from your vaginal mucosal lining in there, and they'll roll up like little balls and they'll get all over the place and they're just kind of messy. That does not happen with Foria. It's all like additive and synergistic together. So I love this whole setup. The three pieces, the melts, the Awaken, and the sex oil together are absolutely fantastic. They help with reversing dryness, improving lubrication, awakening sensation in your brain so you have better orgasms, and they give you nice slip and slide so you don't feel like, ooh, it's pulling, it's it's too much.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Well, I was going to ask you, what is a sexual biohacker? But I think you've just explained it. I think it's really interesting that CBD, MCT oil, a lot of the same things we're doing for our brain and gut health are also now related to our sexual health.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, that endocannabinoid system in our body is really an incredible system. The fact that we can kind of kickstart it with the phytocannabinoids is really, we're very lucky to have that in today's modern times.
Yeah, but you're the first person I've ever heard out loud, and maybe I'm not listening to the right channels, I don't know, but you're the first person I've heard actually talk about it in relationship to sexual health.
Yeah.
I often hear things about the brain, the gut, and I haven't heard this before. And I think why aren't we talking about this? I think it's
now we are,
because of the puritanical culture that we live in.
Amen, sister.
It's so important. It's so important.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing that comes up for me, and it's going to come up for other people too. All this is great, if you have a partner, blah blah blah, you're in a relationship or you're not, whatever. What if you're not in a relationship? What if you don't have a partner? Is all of this workable? Yes, I know. Yes, exactly. Yes, as Jennifer holds up her lovely rose quartz dildo, which is beautiful, actually. Dick. By the way, I'm not being sarcastic. It's very beautiful.
That's my rose quartz dick.
There, yes, ma'am. Your dick. Yes, your rose quartz dick. There you go. But are these workable for people who are not in a relationship?
Yeah,
because not all of us are. I will speak for myself. I am not. I would like to know that sexual health and a healthy sex band are in the works for me as well.
It equally counts if you give yourself orgasmic pleasure.
Okay.
It's literally no different than partnered pleasure. There are one or two nice things about partnered pleasure. I'm going to talk about orgasmic cross training. I'm actually going to LA this weekend, and I'm speaking on orgasmic cross training at the Vibe show. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to show there, which I think will be very interesting. There's two things that a female being with a male body can be beneficial. One is that you generate a little more oxytocin when you're with another person. You have a little bit more nervous system regulation. It's called co-regulation. And when you're with someone who calms you, which is honestly the man's job, is to calm us. That's what he needs to do. He needs to bring his solid, rooted, masculine energy to keep us safe and allow us to relax and surrender to our pleasure. So you do miss a little of the co-regulation, and the semen has more than 20 incredible ingredients that are very, very good for the female body, for another person's body, including testosterone, which gives us balls, courage, and serotonin, which is a mood lifter, and spermidine, putrescine, and spermine, which are autophagy, anti-aging and longevity components. You can take spermidine in a supplement. Oxford HealthSpan has fantastic spermidine supplements, including a gluten-free one, which I need to take because I'm a celiac. And those actually support 9 of the 12 hallmarks of aging. So you could take all your NADs and your senolytics and your metformins and your rapamycins and all this stuff, but honestly, the spermidine, it checks off 9 of the 12 hallmarks of aging. It's incredible. So
spermidine.
So it turns out cum is good for you. And everybody's like, in your mouth or only in your yoni? And I'm like, honestly, in both. It's all good for you.
Rub it all over.
Okay. Exactly. But if you are flying solo, then orgasmic cross-training is fine. But I also want to introduce to you the concept, Raquel, of a research partner. A lot of us think that we need that soulmate or that perfect person who completes us and checks off all the things on our list.
I need a research partner.
Waiting for that. Just get somebody that you think is super sexy. You like their body. You've got an attraction. There's some chemistry. They're a good person, but they don't need to check off all the things. And they want to show up at your house and give you a ton of orgasms and then go home.
I need to meet that person.
And the way to meet that person is to put on your, have you heard of gaydar? Like a gay guy can tell another gay guy because they've got gaydar. It's basically whatever is the equivalent of that for research partner dar, radar for research radar. You just need to be like, okay, I'm going to get me a research partner who is going to get to come over to my house and give me orgasms. Let me see. What does my yoni want?
That's a much nicer name than boy toy or fuck toy or
research partner,
even friend with benefits.
You're a science woman. You're a science woman. This is right up your alley.
Yes,
it is. This is it.
Yep. I'm going to start looking for a research partner.
Yep.
And it's okay to have a couple.
Okay.
And here's what I would recommend, because you could say, well, I want to do G-spot awakening and have, expanded orgasm dates, but I'm also interested in doing some like kinky stuff or whatever, whatever your jams are.
Yeah.
And, these are things I want to try. Like I haven't tried them. I want to try them. And different guys have different people have, you might want to have a woman as a girlfriend. You might want to have someone who is non-binary as a lover, right? I mean, they, them can be incredibly delicious too. Like
I am visioning this for you, Raquel.
Yes. Let's get some rainbow sparkle up Raquel's yoni. So,
any sparkle right now would be lovely.
Start with some self sparkle and then put out the what did you call
research
it?
Partner.
Research partner vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
I love it.
So in the interim, the best way to start getting that like juicy vitality flowing is to do orgasmic cross training using the 8 types of tools that activate the different areas of our yoni, so that by the time our research partner shows up, we're massively orgasmic and we're just coming like crazy and we're super confident and comfortable with ourselves. And I'll show you what a few of them are.
I like it.
So one of them is homework. The air stimulator kind of clitoris.
Yeah. I've seen that one.
One of them is the motorboat for your clit. This is the Volta.
Nice.
By the way, all the things I'm showing are at orgasmiccrosstraining.com, because everybody's all like, wait, what was that one? Yeah. And then there's 2 versions of this one. Yeah, here we go. Some people have pretty little tiny yonis. Some people have giant yonis with big lips and huge vaginal caverns. That's me. And so this is one of my favorite toys I recommend. This is called the Lady Buy. This one's called the Miss Buy. The Miss Buy is for all you little gals. The Lady Buy is for all us giant yoni ladies. So this is both external and internal motors, 2 motors that go inside. And I like this because it hits the G spot and then goes beyond the cervix to the very back of our cave. And the more that you think about your vagina, like guys usually think about the vagina like, oh, all I need to do is go, like I've got a sword and this is the sheath. The vagina, the word for vagina is literally sheath. It's really a cave. It's more like a balloon. I found the vagina.
That's what the guy said. That's what he said.
Exactly.
I found it.
This is what it looks like with a little dimple at the top where the cervix presses down. It's a cave with a thin little neck and a little sphincter called the introital sphincter. And that gets sensitive as we age. So that's what we need our estrogen to thicken up especially. And what's nice about it is that when you think about using your penis in all these places and not just stroking the tissue, the vaginal mucosal lining, but instead pressing beyond the tissue. You want to stroke the meat inside us, like our whole core. And
Mhm.
when a guy thinks about using his penis like that, or your girlfriend thinks about using a dildo like that in you, it activates all that, and all that becomes orgasmic too. So we're as orgasmic up inside as we are outside. The tip of the clit, though it has 10,000 nerve endings, is attached to this clitoral body with the arms and legs. There's the urethral sponge, the perineal sponge. They need to get all engorged. All that stuff needs to get activated. So you're using your tools to activate your different areas. This is one of my favorites. This is called the Vim. This wand is really great in the outer labia, mons, clitoris, perineum.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they designed this, these are the German engineers that basically make the BMWs, the Mercedes, and the Porsches. It's these kind of guys making these sex toys. And what they did was they designed this so that it doesn't stimulate the skin, it penetrates the vibrations inside all that tissue.
Wow.
And you can learn how to ride this vibration so that when you hit that moment of climax, you don't just come, you stay in the moment of climax, and you just keep coming and coming and coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. That's what an
Wow.
expanded orgasm is. And then there is also your G-spot toys like these. These are
Mm-hmm.
really nice because they go in and they hit the G-spot. This one's curved, it's real squishy, and it's
Mm-hmm.
really nice. You can also insert these inside. This one is a thruster, and what's nice about this one is, this one's one too. This one you can leave inside your vagina, and it will stroke your vagina and stimulate your G-spot. And then you can put another toy outside on your clitoris, so you're getting internal, external stimulation that way. You
Wow.
can use more than one at a time. So these are what are going to really get the whole yoni like sending signals to the brain all over the brain. The brain's just going to be like, wow. And then you're going to have more cognitive function, and you're going to reduce the effects of old age dementia, because you keep
Mm-hmm.
having all these explosions of orgasmic pleasure in your brain that are getting all that blood flowing in your head, which is, blood flow
Interesting.
is the thing, man. It is the thing for anti-aging. So that's
Interesting.
orgasmic cross training. That's where you go start with your solo activations
Yeah.
while you're calling in and manifesting your research partners. And they all need to get STI tested
Yes.
to be with you, and they need to be
Yes.
monogamous with you, or they need to have partners who are also tested and monogamous to them,
Yeah.
so that you're all safe and you're not having intercourse and
Mm-hmm.
oral pleasuring with people who are having intercourse and oral pleasure with other people who are untested.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
syphilis, gonorrhea, chlamydia, mycoplasma genitalium, Gardnerella, HIV, HSV, HPV, there's over 20 STIs, skin to skin contact,
Ugh.
not just semen and vaginal secretion,
Yeah.
that are going around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, very important to get a good test.
Well, I
Right.
was all
Right.
happy, but you just brought the mood like.
Not at all. No, that's what grown-ups do. Grown-ups
Yeah.
manage the
Yeah.
risks so we can relax
Yeah.
into our pleasure. No,
Exactly.
I don't think it's a mood killer. I actually think the safe sex talks are aphrodisiacs, because they allow us
Mm-hmm.
to know we're going to be safe, and that
Right.
we're responsible human beings who want to really have a good time together.
Exactly. Well,
Actually, that was so great.
and one other thing that all of what you just said brings up for me too is we need basically like a wardrobe of toys,
Yes.
right? Like
Yeah,
the
there's
days
eight
of just
kinds.
having like one vibrator or one dildo, like those days are pretty much past, right? Like we
Yeah.
need a variety because we need a variety of stimulation.
Yes. To
There
activate
you go.
all of that tissue, there's eight kinds of pleasure tools, and I just showed them to you. And that's
Yeah.
what's on that orgasmic cross training. So as you're building your pleasure chest, you're
Mm-hmm.
you're very specifically getting the wand, the bullet, the rabbit, the liquor, the air stimulant, you're the
Yeah.
thruster.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I'm going to be using all of these things because what I'm really doing here is I'm activating my orgasmic potential. And then
Right.
when I'm with a partner, I can both incorporate those toys, like my Dope Flow sex date had a lot of toy incorporation.
Hmm.
What a lover wants to do is watch you come and come and come.
Right.
And they're happy to just lie there and kiss you and adore you while you're doing it, as much as they're wanting to do it to you with their body parts or
Right.
combinations of both. The guys that are like, I don't need you to use any tools. I can give you plenty of pleasure. You're like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no, you can give me lots of pleasure, but I can have even more pleasure when it's all of these things. And your fear and ego need to be checked at the door
Yep.
because we're in the 21st century. And by the way, did you
Hmm.
use an electric toothbrush this morning? Did you drive a
Hmm.
car here? Did you, you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly. And all of this is healthy and necessary for healthy aging.
yeah,
It isn't just about, getting your rocks off. It's
exactly.
literally essential for healthy aging.
Yes.
So we need to, like, all of the shame and purity culture and all that. We need to let all that bullshit go.
Right.
For many reasons.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, so many.
Well, I wish we had another hour to talk to you because I wanted you to tell us about polarity. I wanted to talk about Kundalini awakening and all of that. We'll have to do it another time. But
Yeah.
did you have anything that you wanted to tell our audience that you didn't have a chance to?
Gosh, not really. I mean, I guess the only thing that I would say probably is that if a question has come up for you as you've been listening or watching us on the Madness Cafe today, that you are welcome to reach out to me directly. I don't see clients one-on-one. I'm a publisher and author of passionate lovemaking techniques. So you can put the Rosetta Stone to all of my information in the search box to look up words of any kind is at betterlover.com. And you can also get on my email newsletter there. And if you are on my email newsletter, and that's where I send out all of my lovemaking techniques to people, you can reply to any email and it comes to me personally. I'll reply to you. And I'll acknowledge that I got it. I may not be able to get to you right away because I get a lot of
I'm
emails,
sure you do.
but I
Mhm.
answer it. And people are always like, my God, thank you. You just sent me like 10 links to videos and gave me an ebook. And like you don't even know who I am. And I'm like, of course. Yes, of course. I am here to serve. That I think betterlover.com is probably the place. And then you can always follow me on Instagram by my
Mhm.
name, Susan Bratton. That's a good place too. But it's easier if you reply to my newsletter than to slide into my DMs with long-winded questions because I can't type that
Got it.
well on my phone.
That's great.
And
Well,
thank you
and
both so much for having me.
What a
of
pleasure. What a
course,
pleasure.
this has
Yeah.
been amazing. And honestly, you need to keep us posted about the documentary that's being made about
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
because absolutely we'll have you back when that comes out or when it's
Thank
about
you.
to, so that we
Yeah.
can help publicize that for you as well. Although I'm sure we'll more than likely have you back before then, because like Jennifer said,
So much
we
more
could
to
talk
talk
about
about.
this
Yeah.
for hours, and
Yeah.
you are a font of information. So
Thank you so
thank you
much.
so much for
Yeah.
sharing all, and thanks for doing this work.
Yeah.
So many
It's my
of us
pleasure.
need this, whether we realize it or acknowledge it. We all need this information.
I can't wait to get a selfie from you, Raquel, where you've just been orgasmed to a melted puddle and your lover is lying beside you in bed and you're like, I got to send this. Let's get a selfie for Suze.
I will do it. I will do it. Me and my research
I
partner.
get a copy too.
So
Yes, definitely. Yeah, put Jennifer and I on that text thread.
Yeah.
totally will.
Yeah. Yes. So great.
Oh, Susan, you are delightful. Thank
Thank you
you
so
so much.
much.
Thank you.
What a
Recap.
great conversation.
You know, what is really interesting is the sex talk in my house since I got back from that Jerry weekend and doing the holotropic breath work and all of that, I have really opened up sexually.
Yeah.
Who would have known
Yes.
I would put that, right?
Exactly.
I've really opened up. I'm by no means of the caliber of Susan, but I was walking yesterday with my daughter. We were going for a walk with a dog, and something sexual came up, and we were talking about sex with our boyfriends, and which I spent my whole time raising them trying to pretend like I wasn't having sex. Why I was doing that,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know why. Purity culture.
Purity culture, yeah.
Right. So I was divorced when my kids went to their dad's for the weekend or whatever. That's when I had my dates. And they didn't really know about that part of my life. They didn't really know that their mother was a sexual being.
Yeah.
So lately I've loosened up and, my daughter's asking me a few questions. And I don't know what she asked me the other day, but she asked me something. And I answered her and we were talking about it. And she goes, people talk about this. It's such an important part of life. And we don't know anything. What we learn in school and sex ed is so minimal.
Oh my God, so minimal.
So minimal. It's like we don't even know what we look like. We don't know what our biology is. We don't understand our hormones. We don't know our cycles. I remember coming out of sex ed and thinking, oh my God, if I have sex, I can get pregnant. I didn't even realize until probably 30 some years later that you can only get pregnant during certain times of the month. Right? Like I didn't even get that. Yeah. And so I went on the pill. Because I wanted to have sex. But if I had realized that I could have taken that knowledge and had control and agency over my own body, I probably wouldn't have gone on the pill. I probably would have charted and used science. I probably would have gotten some, what are they called, partners?
Research partners.
I probably would have gotten some research partners and like really taken this into my own hands and my own agency as a woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I hope my daughter and her friends are listening and I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it out loud. And I have this on display and my kids have seen it and I'm not embarrassed about that anymore.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. I think like Susan's work is so freaking important for us as for men and women. Men are a big part of this.
It's a huge part of aging well. And that we don't ever talk about. We don't talk about it. It's the whole thing of, menopause hits and you don't have sex anymore, or a man reaches the age where, he has trouble getting hard or keeping an erection and sex is over. Blah, just you live the next 30 years or whatever, just no sex for anybody. There you go. Your life is over.
Screw that.
Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, screw that.
And honestly, I mean, what I am coming away from this with is, again, the whole thing of letting go of shame, letting go of, purity culture, unlearning all of the conditioning that society has put on us, realizing that I have been tying my sexuality and my sensuality and my sensual health, not my sexual health, but my sensuality and sensual health to whether or not I am with a man and whether or not I am in a relationship with a man. That is fucking stupid. That is cutting off my own joy, and not just sexual joy, but it's cutting off the joy that I should be able to access and experience for the rest of my life, whether or not there's a man in my life or not.
Yeah.
That I should be able to have that control over my joy, that there's more to my sexuality and sensuality than just now I have a partner. Well, guess what? I can have all of that solo. Intellectually, yes, I know all that stuff, but it's time for me to like really know that in my heart and live it.
Two responses to that. Number one, it's not stupid. Stop talking about my friend Raquel like that.
Sorry.
It's not stupid. We were socialized to feel that way. You are changing and growing. This is in your control.
Yes.
Number 2, it is the fucking year of Raquel.
That's right.
2024. It's the year of Raquel. Yes. You got it. Yes. It is. It's yours. It's whatever you want it to be. You want to have sex, have sex. You don't want to have sex, don't have sex. You want to experience
I like
these
sex.
things.
I would like to have more sex.
Experience these things.
Yes.
It's the year of Raquel, man. Just go out and get yourself some partners. Heck yeah. And I really do want to thank Susan for mentioning, because I was being kind of flip about it's a downer, but she's right. We're adults, and
we need to be responsible and healthy and safe.
And if I want to give this message to my daughters about enjoying their bodies and feeling their sexual liberation and taking care of their health from the top of their head to the bottom of their toes, including everything, including their genitals, then yes, we need to make sure we're practicing safe sex. So I really appreciate that she took the time to like really set me straight, set our audience straight, set all of us straight on that. It really is incredibly important.
Well, she's having very full, robust, important, significant conversations about sex, about aging, about intimacy, about wellness. It's all part of the same parcel. The fact that she's having those conversations that are that holistic and all encompassing are so important. And honestly, I mean, like she said, we're all grown-ups. It's time we all start having those kinds of conversations.
Oh yeah.
And and sometimes, yes, those are hard conversations to have, but that's one of the reasons why we started the podcast, is we can have the hard conversations. They won't kill us.
That's right. Yeah. Excellent episode.
So good. And everybody listening, don't worry. All the websites and everything that Susan listed off, those are going to be in the show notes for sure. So yeah, absolutely. I will put those in there, and go and sign up for Susan's newsletter. I mean,
I'm going to.
I am too. I mean, who doesn't want to learn more? I mean, my God.
I'm going to.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody go follow Susan on all the things. This was amazing. I'm so glad we had this discussion.
Me too. Year of Raquel.
Let's do it. Oh. Thanks everyone for listening today. We will be back with more Madness Cafe next week. You can find us on Instagram at Madness Cafe Podcast, or email us at madnesscafepodcast@gmail.com. Bye.